Greetings, everybody. It's Adamati Rata non grata, and I'm sure many of you, or most of you, have heard the news this morning that Atari has announced the Atari 7800 Plus. Now, I was looking on X where they were just answering questions from people where they said that hey, there are some very minor differences, but at least from what they posted, it looked exactly the same to me as far as the hardware goes. But obviously, the case, the shell, is different. Let's give the trailer a look, just in case you hadn't seen it yet. I do enjoy the music on this one. In fact, I've already watched this trailer, and I enjoyed it a lot. I think it was really well done. And it's very nice to have a wireless CX78 gamepad. I had a wired one, but it broke a long time ago. This is also a surprise. Bentley Bears Crystal Quest. It almost seems like this is going to be the pack-in title, which, if that's the case, that is awesome. This Bentley Bears Crystal Quest is basically the game that should have been packed in with the console back in 1986. Of course, it didn't exist back then. But this is another thing we'll talk about in a second, all those new cartridges. Like it's 1986. So yeah, let's head over to the Atari site. So on atari.com/collections/7800, this is where you can pre-order a 7800 Plus for $129.99, which is the same price, as I recall, as the 2600 Plus. So I guess it just kind of boils down to which one of those do you want to have for the case? What type of controller do you have? The CX78, if you're not familiar with it, was the European gamepad. It wasn't produced or sold in stores here in the US, if I'm recalling that correctly. So anybody who wanted something that was a little bit more like an NES pad had to order one from Europe or import one. But oh yeah, it looks like it does come with Bentley Bears Crystal Quest. That is awesome. I'm very happy with that decision because, again, Pole Position 2 was the packing game for the 7800 back in the day, and even though that was a fine arcade port, that wasn't the game that a system needed for its pack-in title, especially going up against the likes of Super Mario Brothers. And so this kind of rectifies that wrong, and very nice packaging too. I mean, I'm practically sold on it just for the Crystal Quest one. I mean, granted, I've thought about getting the 2600 Plus as well, but yeah, that's cool. Didn't realize that. But you have near perfect compatibility with original third-party Atari games. Again, if it works on the Atari 2600 Plus, then it would work on the Atari 7800 Plus. But that's the nice thing about both of these systems, is that you can plug in your old cartridges into the machine and enjoy them that way. And that's something that most of these retro remake consoles have not done. And I think for the longest time, Atari was just too afraid to worry about doing that sort of thing. But I'm glad that they've gotten past that worry and just gone with it, as that makes these more enticing. There is the controller mega bundle, so you can get some paddles and some cable extensions and a CX40 wireless joystick, or wired one, sorry. And then we have these new cartridges. Now, I think there's an important stipulation to be made here that these are not all necessarily new. Most of these games, a big chunk of these games, have actually been designed in the homebrew community. If I'm remembering his name correctly, Bob DiCrenzo, or Pac-Man Plus is what he's known as on Atari Age. He did most of these for the 7800. He was one of the first programmers who really got things moving in the homebrew side of the 7800. For the longest time, there really wasn't anything. And he's done a lot of arcade ports, and now that Atari owns Atari Age, they've been able to pick all of those up, and now they're selling them as branded Atari 7800 brand new games, like brand new cartridges. So in this sense, the Atari 7800 and the 2600 are both alive again, and that's an exciting thing for any retro gamer, I'd think. So of course you have Asteroids Deluxe and Space Duel, Berserk and Frenzy, Crystal Quest, which is already coming there anyways. I guess this is just if you already have it at 2600 plus and you want this game, as it'll work in there. I had not been familiar with the 2600 port of the Caverns of Mars. I think it would be cool if there was a 7800 version of that. Bounty Bob Strikes Back is coming to the 7800, which that was a little bit of a surprise. I did not realize that it was in development, or maybe I missed that release from previous times. And then you have some Atari 2600 collections, such as the Epix Games and the M Network and the Real Sports. I guess one thing about Epix Games, there were 7800 versions of these same games, the summer games and winter games, not California games. But if they have this, I hope they will get that for the Lynx here soon. It would be really nice, because the Lynx had a bunch of Epix games on there, and that made up some of the best games of the Lynx library. But again, if you have any old Atari 2600 cartridges, 7800 cartridges, they will work on this. Homebrew cartridges will work on it. It's great to see what all these IP acquisitions plus the acquisition of Atari Age is resulting in, because this is allowing us to enjoy original console releases as well as these new cartridge releases on something that, yes, it's not a recreation of the hardware itself. It's emulated, but it's still, from what I hear, the emulation's pretty spot on. Let me know what you think about this. And by the way, there will be another Atari game announcement coming very soon. I saw a preview of it when I was at California Extreme, as I was hanging out with the producer from Atari, and he showed me a game that they are remaking. They're bringing back to life. I won't say what it is yet, because I'll let them do that announcement. But it is a game that was on both the Atari 2600 and the 7800. So that can maybe help you whittle it down as to which of those titles is getting a modern remake in Unreal Engine. As I recall, Unreal Engine 5. It looked really nice, even though what he was showing me was a very early build. But stay tuned for that news coming soon. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.